Welcome to another Drugs Meter Minute. So my name's Adam Wingstock and I'm here today with Carol in a toilet. So Carol, just tell people what you do for a job and who you work for.
I work for Synergy Health Laboratory Services. We're a workplace drug testing company and I'm a collection technician, and I go out and collect samples to test for various substances.
And I just watched you give the most fantastic talk on some of the things that people do to try and avoid drug testing in the workplace when it comes to giving urine tests, which is why we're in a loo. Just tell me, what do you reckon the three most common ways are people try and beat the urine test?
Diluting a sample, bringing in somebody else's sample, and substituting another liquid or substance and giving it to me purporting to be urine.
Right, and now you're not daft and you know about those things. So I'm just wondering, when you come into an environment to actually set up a place to make sure people don't take the piss, what do you do to reduce the risk of people doing those things?
Okay, so first of all, we'll take a toilet out of action because we don't want to be interrupted. And then we're going to do things like look at the water supply. With the cistern, we're going to tape it up. We're going to tape over the flush because we don't want any water or liquids coming into contact with that sample.
So you would literally come in and...
Something like that, yes.
Something like that, okay. And
taps here, obviously, taps could be used to dilute a sample. So we're going to tape that up. We'll tape this up as well. Hand soap, again, has been used to dilute or adulterate a sample.
People give you soap and tell you it's urine?
They do. They give us samples of white soap and are quite happy to think that we're going to believe that it's urine.
Okay. Well, what else do you do to minimise the risk of people...
Well, obviously we haven't spoken about the water down the toilet pan. So that has to be dyed. We dye it bright blue. So if we have a sample given to us that's blue in colour, we've got a pretty good idea of where it's come from.
Okay. And the other thing you mentioned was a bit about, earlier on, was about temperature. Because if people try and dilute their urine with cold water and it comes out like cold stuff, you know it's not urine.
Absolutely.
Would you go so far as to taking the temperature off urine?
Yes, all of our kits have a temperature strip integrated into the pot. So the first thing that we do when we get handed a sample, we're going to have a look to see what the temperature is. And a lot of the time, it's going to be cold.
So it would be reasonable, say, when you take a urine sample for drugs, you ain't daft because you're aware of what people do?
We'd like to think so.
And is there anything else you would do?
Certainly. Behind you there, we can see we have a container. That could be used to hide somebody else's sample or other types of adulterants. We would take that out. We would take this out as well. Again, also, if there's a toilet brush, the holder often contains some rather disgusting liquid left over from toilet brush usage. We would actually take that out as well because that could be tipped into a sample to dilute it.
So this is a clean and empty environment where the only thing people are going to be able to bring out is something they've brought in with them, but preferably their own
sample.
Lovely. Carol, that was just fascinating. And the first Drugs Meter Minute with filmed in a toilet, so thank you.
You're welcome.